"Wembanyama's potential is limitless, but right now he can't handle playoff pressure," said LeBron James confidently on the NBA Countdown program. "It will take time for him to be physically and mentally ready." As the other analysts in the studio nodded their heads, a producer rushed in and handed host Stephen A. Smith a tablet. After examining the tablet, Smith turned to James with astonishment. "LeBron, you're about to see something incredible. New footage from the Spurs training facility. Wembanyama is talking about you, and then, wow, are these statistics real?" Welcome to the Famous Stories channel. Whatever city you're watching from, please let us know in the comments. If you're curious about unknown and never-before-heard truths, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. The ESPN studios in New York buzzed with anticipation as the crew made final preparations for a special edition of NBA Countdown. Tonight's episode promised to generate significant buzz throughout the basketball world as NBA superstar LeBron James would be appearing in studio to discuss, among other topics, his thoughts on rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama. Behind the cameras, production assistants scurried about with last-minute adjustments. Lighting technicians fine-tuned the studio illumination, ensuring the perfect balance of dramatic effect and visual clarity. Sound engineers conducted final checks on microphone levels, aware that every word of tonight's conversation could potentially become viral content within minutes of airing. In the makeup room, LeBron James sat calmly as the artist applied finishing touches to his appearance. At 39 years old, in his 21st professional season, James had done thousands of television appearances, yet he still approached each one with professional discipline. His media manager stood nearby, scrolling through a tablet. "Everyone's talking about your matchups with Wembanyama this season," the manager noted. "ESPN's been running comparison graphics all week." LeBron nodded thoughtfully. "It's natural, the kid's special, no doubt about it. But there's a big difference between regular season games and when the real pressure is on." The makeup artist stepped back to examine her work. "All set, Mr. James." Meanwhile, in the green room, the show's regular analysts prepared for the broadcast. Michael Wilbon, the veteran journalist known for his historical perspective, reviewed statistical comparisons between James and various NBA legends. Jalen Rose adjusted his tie while rehearsing potential questions that could elicit compelling television moments. Paul Pierce, who had engaged in numerous on-court battles with LeBron during his playing career, seemed particularly energized by the opportunity to push some buttons during the upcoming discussion. "Remember," the segment producer told them during a brief huddle, "if LeBron makes any strong statements about Wembanyama, really press him on it. Those are the moments that generate headlines." Pierce grinned. "Don't worry, I've got plenty of questions ready." The main studio was a marvel of broadcast technology. Dynamic lighting capable of shifting to match the tone of discussions, multiple camera positions to capture every reaction and expression, and a semicircular desk where the heated basketball conversations would unfold. Giant LED screens displayed graphics comparing LeBron's and Wembanyama's statistics side by side, visually setting the stage for the conversation to come. Stephen A. Smith, ESPN's most recognizable personality, known for his theatrical delivery and strong opinions, paced near his chair, occasionally gesturing emphatically as he ran through potential questions in his mind. Smith had built his brand on creating memorable television moments, and tonight's LeBron interview presented a perfect opportunity for exactly that. 2 minutes to air, called the floor director. The production team took their positions, camera operators made final adjustments to their equipment, graphics technicians ensured all prepared visual elements were loaded and ready. In the control room, the director reviewed the camera sequence one last time. Anticipating the flow of the upcoming segment, 30 seconds came the next call. The analysts took their seats around the desk. Smith settled into his host position, straightening his vibrant tie and adjusting his microphone. A production assistant escorted LeBron James onto the set, and the basketball superstar took his place at the desk, nodding greetings to the other panelists. 10 seconds, the familiar NBA Countdown theme music swelled through the studio. The on-air lights illuminated, and the cameras began their choreographed movements. "Welcome to a special edition of NBA Countdown," Smith began with his trademark intensity, looking directly into camera one. "I'm Stephen A. Smith, joined by Michael Wilbon, Jalen Rose, and Paul Pierce. And today we have a very special guest, 19-time All-Star, 4-time NBA champion, the one and only LeBron James." The camera panned to LeBron, who acknowledged the introduction with a professional nod. "We've got a packed show tonight," Smith continued, covering all the latest NBA developments, but we'll be focusing significant attention on one of basketball's most fascinating storylines. The comparison between LeBron James and rookie sensation Victor Wembanyama, who's been called the most unique talent to enter the league since, well, LeBron himself. The first segment covered general basketball topics, recent games, standings, and emerging playoff scenarios. Each analyst offered their perspectives, with LeBron providing measured insights that demonstrated his comprehensive understanding of the league. But both the panel and the audience knew the Wembanyama discussion was the main event, and Smith skillfully steered the conversation in that direction after the first commercial break. "LeBron, let's get right to what everyone's talking about," Smith began, leaning forward in his chair with characteristic intensity. "Victor Wembanyama has been breaking rookie records left and right. Some analysts are already calling him a once-in-a-generation talent. Having faced him this season, what's your assessment of his game?" All cameras focused on LeBron as he considered his response. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Unfiltered thoughts from basketball's reigning king about the player many believed would eventually take his throne. "First, let me say that Victor is an incredible talent," LeBron began diplomatically. "What he's doing at his age is remarkable. The combination of his size, mobility, and skill set is something we haven't really seen before in this league. His ceiling is tremendous." The analyst nodded in agreement, but Smith, sensing LeBron was holding back, pressed further. "You've been in this league for 21 years. How does he compare to other phenoms you've seen come into the NBA?" LeBron shifted slightly in his chair, his body language suggesting he was about to offer something more substantive. "His ceiling is as high as anyone I've ever seen enter the league. The potential is limitless." He paused momentarily, then continued with a more definitive tone. "But right now he can't handle playoff pressure. It will take time for him to be physically and mentally ready for that level of intensity." The statement hung in the air for a moment. It wasn't just analysis. It was a direct challenge from the veteran to the rookie. The other panelists exchanged glances, recognizing they'd just witnessed the soundbite that would dominate sports talk for days. Paul Pierce, never one to miss an opportunity to stir controversy, leaned forward with a slight smirk. "That's a bold statement, LeBron. Wembanyama has already had some impressive performances against you this season. In your last matchup, he had 25 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 blocks. 3 of those blocks came directly against your shots." "Regular season games are different from playoff basketball," LeBron responded, his tone remaining composed but firm. "One game is one thing. A 7-game series where your opponent studies your every tendency, where every possession feels like your last, where the physical and mental toll compounds day after day, that's completely different. Victor isn't ready for that yet. No rookie is." Stephen A. Smith, recognizing the television gold unfolding before him, pressed further. "So in what specific ways isn't he ready? Physically? Mentally? Both." "Both," LeBron stated definitively, holding up 2 fingers for emphasis. "Look, the kid is 7'4" and has incredible abilities. I'm not taking anything away from his talent, but playoff intensity is a whole different level than anything he's experienced before." LeBron leaned forward, warming to his topic. "We're going to make physical contact on every possession. Every shot will be contested. The referees let more contact go in the playoffs. Being able to withstand this intensity for 7 games requires years of experience. It's not something you can simulate in practice or regular season games." Wilbon, always one to provide historical context, entered the conversation. "LeBron, you were also young when you faced your first playoff series. You were 21 when you played against the Wizards in 2000. What was your experience like then, and do you see any parallels with Wembanyama's situation?" LeBron shook his head firmly. "It was completely different. I came to the NBA straight out of high school. When I played my first playoff series, I had 3 years of NBA experience under my belt. I'd already been through the fire of regular season intensity for 3 full campaigns." He gestured emphatically as he continued. "Victor has a high basketball IQ, no doubt, but he's still a rookie. He can't even imagine what the playoff atmosphere is like. The pressure, the scrutiny, the way every possession matters. It's something you have to experience to understand." Pierce, never one to back down from confrontation, pressed further. "Could you be underestimating Wembanyama a bit, LeBron? After all, he's not a normal rookie. He was a professional in Europe before coming here. He's played in high-pressure FIBA tournaments." "I'm not underestimating him," LeBron responded, a slight edge creeping into his voice. "I'm just being realistic based on 2 decades in this league. I think one day he'll be one of the most dominant players we've ever seen. But not yet. I'm going to use every advantage against him and expose his inexperience. That's just the reality of the situation." Just as Smith prepared to ask another question, A commotion from the back of the studio caught everyone's attention. The show's floor director was frantically signaling to the production team, and moments later, the executive producer rushed onto the set, clutching a tablet. She hurriedly whispered something into Smith's ear, then handed him the device. Smith examined the screen, his expression transforming from curiosity to astonishment. The other panelists and LeBron watched with growing interest, as Smith's theatrical reactions, something he was famous for, seemed genuinely unscripted for once. "Is this confirmed?" Smith asked the producer in a hushed tone. When she nodded emphatically, Smith looked directly at LeBron with an expression of barely contained excitement. "LeBron, we've just received something that I think you need to see," Smith said, his voice rising dramatically. "Apparently an anonymous source has just sent us footage from the Spurs training facility. It was recorded mere minutes ago, and shows Victor Wembanyama responding to your comments, which, mind you, you just made live on our show." LeBron's brow furrowed slightly. The timing seemed impossible. How would he have heard what I just said? "According to our producer, the Spurs have been watching our broadcast live," Smith explained, "and Wembanyama requested to respond immediately. But that's not all. There's additional footage that, well, you're about to see something incredible. New footage from the Spurs training facility. Wembanyama is talking about you and then, wow, are these statistics real?" Smith turned to the production team. "Can we put this on the big screen for everyone to see?" The main studio monitor flickered, then displayed footage clearly shot within the Spurs practice facility. The timestamp in the corner confirmed it was indeed recorded just minutes earlier. Victor Wembanyama stood center frame, his 7-foot form making everything around him look small by comparison. He was dressed in Spurs practice gear, sweat visible on his brow and jersey, suggesting he had been in the middle of an intense workout when LeBron's comments were relayed to him. Beside Wembanyama stood Gregg Popovich, the legendary Spurs coach, looking typically stern and focused. A reporter's voice came from off-camera. "Victor, we just heard LeBron James say on ESPN that you won't be able to handle playoff pressure, that you're not ready both physically and mentally for a 7-game series. What's your response to that?" The studio fell completely silent as everyone waited for Wembanyama's reaction. The French rookie took a moment before responding, his expression remarkably composed for a 20-year-old being challenged by the game's greatest active player. "I respect LeBron's opinion," Wembanyama said in his measured, accented English. "He is one of the greatest players of all time in basketball. I've studied his game since I was a child, but with all due respect, he's wrong. I am ready." Wembanyama's gaze intensified as he continued, "Not only am I ready, I'm also eager for this opportunity. Playing against LeBron is something I've dreamed about. Now it's reality and I intend to make the most of it." In the ESPN studio, LeBron's expression remained neutral, but his eyes narrowed slightly, the only indication that Wembanyama's confident response had registered with him. On screen, Popovich stepped forward, a rare slight smile playing at the corners of his mouth. "Asking Victor if he's ready is unnecessary. Let us show you what he's been doing for the past 2 weeks." The footage cut to another section of the Spurs practice facility, where detailed training data was displayed on a large monitor. The statistics outlined an extraordinary preparation regimen that Wembanyama had been following. 1,000 shots daily, categorized by type and situation, specialized drills designed to counter specific defensive schemes, one-on-one training against players mimicking various opponents' styles, customized conditioning program with intensity increased by 40% over the past 2 weeks, mental toughness exercises including high-pressure decision-making simulation. The footage continued, showing clips of Wembanyama in these various training scenarios battling against physical defenders, making rapid decisions under pressure, and executing complex moves that seemed impossible for someone his size. Then the screen displayed performance metrics from what was labeled as Wembanyama's preparation assessment conducted earlier that day: 50-minute intense scrimmage, 37 points, 18 rebounds, 7 blocks, 6 assists. Physical contact intensity, 30% above professional standards. Fourth quarter efficiency, 73% shooting accuracy. Decision-making under pressure, 91% correct decision rate. In the studio, the analysts exchanged glances of disbelief. These numbers, if accurate, were beyond extraordinary. They were almost mythical. The video returned to Wembanyama, who was now looking directly into the camera, his gaze intense and focused. "I have great respect for LeBron James," the rookie said, his voice steady and clear. "It's an honor to be in the same conversation with him, but I am not just potential, I am now. And now, I'm ready for any challenge. I will let my game do the talking." Popovich stepped back into frame, his weathered face serious. Victor's work ethic over the last 2 weeks has been one of the most impressive things I've seen in my 27 years with this organization. I haven't seen a player this focused since Tim Duncan. He's more than ready for any challenge that comes his way. The video ended, and the studio lights returned to their normal brightness. A heavy silence hung in the air for several seconds, an eternity in live television. All eyes were on LeBron, waiting for his reaction to this unprecedented direct response from a rookie. Smith finally broke the tension. "Well, LeBron, what do you think about that? It seems Wembanyama has heard your comments and is quite motivated by them." LeBron took a moment before responding, his expression revealing little. When he finally spoke, his voice was measured and controlled. "Good response," he said with a slight nod. "The kid isn't afraid of competition. That's a good sign. I respect that he's not backing down, but I still stand by what I said. Training statistics might be impressive, but the real thing is a whole different beast. We'll see how he responds when the lights are brightest." Rose, sensing an opportunity to deepen the conversation, jumped in. LeBron Wembanyama's fourth-quarter efficiency statistics in that scrimmage were remarkable. 73% shooting. That's an area where you've made your reputation closing games. Do you think he could potentially match your level of performance in clutch situations? "Definitely not," LeBron said with certainty, shaking his head. "There's a big difference between practice and a real game. I've been handling the ball in critical moments for 20 years. I've hit game winners in the biggest moments. I've faced every possible defensive scheme in those situations. He might be talented, but my experience is a huge advantage when it matters most." Pierce, clearly enjoying the growing tension, grinned. "I think the young man got under your skin a bit, LeBron, and Popovich too. Classic Pop move to have a response ready so quickly. He's been playing these media games for decades." "I've been playing these games for 20 years too," LeBron replied with a dismissive wave. "No one can affect me with psychological games at this point in my career. I'm just stating facts based on what I've seen and experienced. Victor will be a great player, but not yet. This is his learning stage." Smith, recognizing the exceptional television moment unfolding before him, wanted to explore every angle of the confrontation. "What about Wembanyama's defense? In your matchups this season, he made several blocks directly against your shots. His wingspan and timing seem to give you trouble. How do you approach someone with his unique physical tools?" LeBron leaned forward, his competitive fire becoming more evident. "I've played against the best defenders in NBA history," he said firmly. "I've faced Ben Wallace in his prime, Dwight Howard when he was Defensive Player of the Year, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan. The list goes on. Victor's length is impressive, but I can find solutions against any defense. I've been doing it my whole career." Wilbon approached the topic from a different angle. "The statistics do show that in your matchups with Wembanyama this season, your shooting percentage dropped significantly when he was the primary defender. Does this concern you at all?" "No, because regular season games are different," LeBron insisted. "I wasn't going all out in those matchups. There was no game planning specifically for him. When it really matters, I'll play with higher focus and preparation. Also, as a team, we've developed different strategies to neutralize his impact. He won't see the same looks next time." Before the conversation could continue, the producer rushed back onto the set and handed Smith another note. The host's expression changed once again as he read it, creating another moment of suspense. "It seems we've received yet another video from the Spurs," Smith announced, his voice rising with excitement. "This time Gregg Popovich is speaking directly to you, LeBron." The studio monitor activated again, showing Popovich standing alone on the Spurs practice court. The legendary coach, usually so reserved with the media, looked directly into the camera with unusual intensity. "I have a message for LeBron James," Popovich began, his voice carrying the authority that comes with 5 championships. "You've been in this league for 21 years, and you're still one of the most dominant players. That's an incredible achievement that deserves respect. But you're wrong about Victor." Popovich's expression hardened slightly as he continued. "I've been a coach for 27 years, and I've never seen a rookie like him. Not Duncan, not Robinson, not even Kobe or yourself when you came into the league. His combination of physical gifts, basketball IQ, and mental toughness is unprecedented." The coach paused for effect. "Aside from his physical abilities, he's also a special player mentally. He's different from David Robinson, Tim Duncan, and Kawhi Leonard, but he's just as special in his own way. And let me tell you this, Victor won't just handle pressure, he will thrive in it. He will surprise you." Popovich leaned closer to the camera, his final words delivered with unmistakable conviction. "You think you're getting in his head. He's already in yours. See you soon." The video ended, leaving the studio in shocked silence. Popovich, renowned for his restrained media presence, had just delivered what amounted to a direct challenge to LeBron James, something virtually unheard of from the typically reserved coach. Smith turned to LeBron, his expression a mixture of surprise and excitement. "Pop is directly challenging you, LeBron. It's rare to see such an open confrontation from a coach of his caliber, especially one who normally avoids media theatrics. This just got a lot more personal." LeBron took a moment to collect his thoughts, clearly measuring his response. When he spoke, his voice was controlled but carried an unmistakable edge. "Pop is a legend, and I have immense respect for him," he said. "He's won 5 championships, coached some of the greatest players ever, and built one of the most successful organizations in sports. He's defending his team and his player, doing his job, but I stand by what I said. Experience matters in this league." "What if Wembanyama surprises you as Popovich promised?" Rose asked, pressing the issue. "We've seen rookies step up before in big moments." "Then I'll be the first to congratulate him," said LeBron, his competitive confidence unwavering, "but that's not going to happen. My experience will prevail over his youth. That's not disrespect. It's the natural order of things in this league. He'll have his time, but not at my expense." As the segment approached its conclusion, Smith summarized the extraordinary exchange that had just unfolded. "This debate has added incredible excitement to basketball discourse. What began as a routine analysis has evolved into a direct challenge between one of the game's greatest players and a rookie sensation being hailed as the future of basketball." The camera pulled back to show the entire panel, with LeBron and the analysts arranged in a semicircle. The veteran king against the young phenom, with Gregg Popovich adding fuel to the fire. "Basketball fans, we're witnessing something special unfold right before our eyes," Smith concluded with characteristic emphasis. The director called "clear," and the camera stopped rolling. The analysts immediately broke into animated conversation, discussing what had just transpired. It had been anything but a routine interview segment. The unexpected videos from the Spurs camp and the direct challenges exchanged would ensure this broadcast would be referenced and replayed for days to come. As the crew began preparing for the next segment, the show's executive producer approached Smith, clearly pleased with how the interview had unfolded. "That was television gold," she said quietly. "The social team says the clips are already going viral." Smith nodded, his satisfaction evident. "Sometimes the best moments are the ones you can't script." That was real tension, real drama, exactly what our viewers tune in for. Meanwhile, LeBron was removing his microphone, his media training allowing him to maintain a composed exterior, despite the unexpected turn the interview had taken. His personal media manager approached, already scrolling through his phone. "It's blowing up online," he informed LeBron. "ESPN is cutting clips for their socials already." "Good," LeBron replied simply. "More eyes on the game." As he prepared to leave the studio, Stephen A. Smith approached to thank him for the appearance. "LeBron, that was one of the most compelling segments we've ever had. Thank you for being so candid." "Just being honest," LeBron replied with a slight smile. "It's all part of the game." "Will you be watching their response shows tomorrow?" Smith asked. "Every sports talk show in America will be dissecting this." LeBron shook his head. "No time for that. As I said, real competition is different. It requires complete focus." With that, he exited the studio, leaving behind what would undoubtedly become one of the most talked about basketball interviews in recent memory. The confrontation between the game's present and its future had played out live on television, setting the stage for what promised to be a fascinating chapter in basketball history. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like this video. What do you think about this topic? Please let us know in the comments below. See you in the next video.